Number 6, Alabama at number 10, LSU.
So this is another fantastic game, and it's gotten better as LSU has gotten better during the course of the year. Now, listen, LSU is way overranked, okay? They're the biggest outlier in the CFP poll. So no other team in the CFP poll was put that far above where they were in the AP poll. 5 spots. It's too high. The committee got caught because they like Ole Miss, and yet LSU beat Ole Miss, but they didn't apply that same logic to Utah and USC. Listen, we caught you, committee, right? Like, LSU shouldn't be ranked number 10, but that doesn't mean that they're not a very good team. In fact, if you look at the top 10, top 12, LSU is the only team in there that has some bad losses. I explained it earlier. Neutral against Florida State, at home, even against what is considered to be the best team in the country in Tennessee. That's why Vegas strongly disagrees with the playoff committee and favors Bama by 13. That's a big number, right? 13. This is a night game in Baton Rouge, and you would think, boy, this is going to be really tough. But what if I told you that LSU hasn't beaten Alabama, even at home, since 2010? I mean, at home since 2010. Of course, they beat them in Tuscaloosa in 19. They haven't won in Death Valley since 2010. But what's different about this year? Well, similar to my feelings about Tennessee and Georgia, location matters. It matters a great deal, in particular when you're talking about Alabama. For as great as that program is, and they are great, like they are the standard in college football. That's why when Tennessee beats them at home via a knuckleball a foot over the upright, they tear those uprights down, carry them out of Neyland, and throw them into the river. Right? Like, they're the standard. And even though they're the standard, they've struggled on the road. I've talked about it before on this show. The numbers bear it out. This season, Alabama's defense, which I think is really good, by the way, all the metrics would say, like, man, they're really, really good. They're very stout. And it's true. However, Bama's splits in terms of their road defense and their home defense are dramatic. Dramatic. Bama gives up 32 points per game on the road and 7 at home. That's dramatic. So location matters. Location absolutely matters. So what do you rely on the road? You got to control the game. How do you control the game? You do it running the football. How do you take the crowd out? You run the ball. So good thing that Alabama has one of the best running games in college football, right? Right? Yes, absolutely. You look at the statistics, there they are. They're the number 1 team in the country when it comes to yards per rush. Number 1 in the SEC, right up there. Over 6 yards per carry. And you think to yourself, okay, great, got it. Boom. They can win on the road. They can go into Baton Rouge, control the game, control the tempo, play on their terms, and take the crowd out of the game as best as you possibly can in that wild environment. But that doesn't tell the whole story. In fact, Alabama has actually really struggled over the last 2 games running the ball, including against Mississippi State last week. Over their last 2 games, they've run the ball 58 times for only 143 yards. That's 2.5 yards per carry. And they still, by the way, are up there, number 1 in the country in yards per carry overall, but not in the last 2. So they've got to run the ball better than what they have in the last 2 games if they want to go in there and play on their terms and ultimately win this game. Their defense is going to be threatened. Jaden Daniels is playing his best ball that I've ever seen. They're getting better. Speaking of that LSU team, they're gaining confidence. Okay, they played really well, in particular late against Ole Miss. Now they get the bye week, just like Alabama does, and they should come out and play really well in an environment which should be hard to win at because of what I was talking about earlier. Bama's struggles have not just been this year on the road, they date back to last season. Remember, they lost to Tennessee this year. They have the 1-point win in a game that Texas really controlled. And then last year, 4 overtimes against Auburn on the road, lost to A&M on the road, and only a 2-point win against Florida. So the bottom line is this. The 13 is too much. It's too much. So LSU covers, Bama wins. All right, Bama's going to win this game on the road. It might be close and it might be ugly. Bryce Young is going to be too good for LSU, but LSU covers the 13.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.